terrorism and Black history and some other things like that. What do you think we should do?
So we did that. I can't believe nobody sending no questions in.
Well, they may have some. She kind of. That's her daughter.
You ain't doing it.
I saw her once or twice, but it hasn't happened. It's been a while since I've seen her.
And we're going to get started in just a few seconds on radio.
We got any questions, man, Debbie, from last week's show and everything? Oh. Okay.
What y'all was talking about?
That's what we're trying to decide now. We're based on our questions could lead us. Yeah, thank you for reminding.
Tracy, give me what is it that you need to know from the attorneys?
I have one.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a lawsuit.
Okay, what's your question?
So like I'm getting ready to have surgery or what have you. Do you guys pay your clients if they have to take off from work or no?
When you're having surgery?
Surgery, or if they tell you that you can't work anymore, like what's the process?
Oh, that's a.
Who is it telling you can't work anymore?
The lawyer.
Because of accident you was involved in? Yeah, of course he gets paid for that.
Yeah, but not while he gets paid after the fact, not during the process.
No, you just have to.
Can I take a loan off the cable? Is what I'm asking.
You can, you shouldn't.
I wouldn't advise that at all.
Yeah, you can, but you shouldn't.
Let's talk about that a
If
little
I'm not
bit.
able to work, what am I supposed to do?
Man, you gotta big borrow and don't steal though. And cause
That's a question for TV.
yeah, cause here's a real thing.
And that's a good question too.
It is. It is.
You have to do it under the table. I mean, or try to do it so
Oh.
they can't find out.
Oh, you don't want to do that
You
either.
say you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, you know my attorney.
Well, because see, here's the thing.
Okay, cool.
They always watching.
Yeah, that's what he said.
They're always watching. And so if you get caught in the okie doke, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, he don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, so everybody knows you good. Call in some IOUs, put it in promissory notes, because that's a lot better than. Because if you do one of those loan companies,
Please don't.
man.
Do that. They're gonna just take his money.
Yeah, you owe them. You owe them. By the time you get your money, you owe them so much money,
That's exactly
it won't
right.
even be worth it.
Yeah.
Right. So I had back and knee surgery and.
Who's your lawyer?
Well, I'm not from here, but
Oh.
I'm from New Orleans. So
Okay.
my name is Laurie, right?
Okay, New Orleans. Okay.
They gave me like $6,000 for the surgery or whatever, but now I have to have next surgery.
Who gave you $6,000?
The lawyer, so I have to pay them back.
Oh, so they
They wasn't supposed. They weren't supposed to even do that.
yeah. So they really trying to hang you in there, keep
Well,
you in.
it probably means that the case is really going to pay off very well for
Yeah.
them to even break the rules
Yeah,
to
'cause-
give him some money.
They have a pot every month that they give their clients money out of.
Yeah, like so.
I told them that didn't sound right.
Yeah, you can okay, so you can give a client a loan, and you can actually do a loan against their proceeds. But there are certain things you can't specifically do, like you can't.
Say this for TV.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You
You were the lawyer, you go real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So the record button is.
The red button, right there. The red button.
Oh yeah. Are you ready?
Do you see the red dot?
It says check the call, so that means.
Okay, let me give you one.
It was cold as a mug today, wasn't it?
Man, yesterday it was colder yesterday.
I mean, it was colder yesterday.
I was downtown, man. I actually had a coat on. Man.
Really?
You know it's cold when I had a
Yeah,
coat on.
it's real cold if you had a coat on.
Yeah. When I was down there, man, it was like 18, something like that. And I was like, man, it's
That
hot.
water running off that river.
Yeah, it was hot.
Yes.
I was like,
Did you have a hat on your head?
Nah, but I had my coat up here though.
Okay.
I had that mirror, that cashmere, and it was,
I
know,
got you.
and then you got that mask on.
Yeah.
And it runs heat,
Yeah. Okay.
the steam from your.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
Welcome to Talking Law with Darrell O'Neal. I'm your host. I got my main man with me, Jerome.
Yes, Darrell. What's up, man?
What's up, man? What's up?
That's good.
You know, last week, let me give my shout out.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
I'm getting ready to get in the
I know
mode,
we're
man.
excited about
We're
tonight's
excited
show.
about the night, bro.
Yes.
So we gotta give our shout outs to Apple TV,
Okay.
Roku, YouTube,
Yes. Yeah.
Facebook Live, Fire Stick.
All right.
So I think I got them all.
I think
If
so.
not,
Miss Debbie gonna pop out
she'll
there and
pop
tell
out,
you.
throw me a rock at
Yes.
me, you know.
Yes.
Then we also need to say thank you and welcome to Little Rock. Welcome to West Memphis.
That's right.
Welcome to Shelby County. Welcome to Mississippi.
Right.
And welcome, Mom, to the great state of Missouri.
Right.
So last week we had a great show talking about civil rights and the enactment of civil rights, and the sadness that we had to do it a second time.
That's right.
And really, we're doing it a third time because, with the Floyd and all that other, because, they got new legislations, on police brutality and things of that nature. So
And the trial of the 3 other officers who were standing by doing nothing
yeah.
has begun.
Yeah.
So so we're right in the mix of it there.
Yeah, and the greatest thing in the world is there was this female officer of color, and it may have been New York, that was terminated because she was She actually tried to stop, intervene in an event,
matter. Yeah,
and they fired her for it.
But
So
the good news is
she won.
She won the case.
Yeah, she did. Actually, that case went. I know it went to the Court of Appeals. I think it may have went to the Supreme Court.
What?
I think that case.
Okay.
I know it went
Okay.
past the Court of Appeals. I think it went to the Supreme Court.
Well, that's great there. But even with that, there was a recent case too where a female officer intervened where the officer was getting ready to brutalize a person in the car, and he came out and grabbed her by the throat. Did you see that?
Yeah. They saw, and he saw something. Actually, some white officers intervened, and another guy that was kind of getting outraged, and it kind of backed him down.
Yeah.
So no, man, we're seeing some good things, and some good things, man.
Absolutely.
That's some good.
I mean, serve and protect. That's what it means. You shouldn't be brutalizing citizens. After all, we pay.
I'm paying your salary, dog. I'm the one paying you.
Absolutely.
But for me, you wouldn't have a job.
Absolutely correct.
That's good. You know what, Jerome? Somebody brought something to our attention earlier today, and I really want to talk about that. If you're involved in an automobile accident, a personal injury, or and personal injuries, man, or any kind of accidents, it could be anything from a slip and fall.
That's right.
To an 18-wheel truck.
That's right. And Dad, why don't we just do an anatomy of a tort claim?
Okay.
Involving personal injury.
Okay.
Whenever you operating a vehicle, there is a duty for you to operate that vehicle in a safe manner.
Right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I should be able to depend on the fact that you're going to follow the rules and I'm going to follow the rules. And when someone doesn't do that, that is
ends up happening in a personal injury case, and that's why you're always looking for damages.
That's right.
Because you're going to have what they call property damage.
That's right.
That's going to be any damage that's done to the actual vehicle itself.
Exactly.
So that's property damage. And then you're going to have bodily damage, which is any damage done to your body.
That's right.
But the other thing that you have when you have those types of things is you can have loss of wages.
That's right.
You can have future medical expenses.
Exactly.
Future medical bills. You can have loss of use. And most people don't, a lot of lawyers even miss that. A loss of use claim is I can't use my car.
Oh yeah, I know about that one.
Yeah, so I can't use my car.
Right.
And so because I've lost the ability to use my car, somebody owes me for that.
Yeah, another thing too, there is something called loss of consortium.
Yes.
Where your spouse is able to recover too because you're no longer able to do spousely stuff.
Yeah.
You
can't take out the trash no more. If you're the husband, you can't take out the trash.
You can't hug. You can't have affection.
Yeah.
And I mean, even that includes the intimacy.
Yeah, it does.
That's missing too as well.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that are comprised And so let's kind of break that down, dude. How do you recover from that? Why am I able to recover because someone has damaged me?
Well, there's a couple of ways you can recover. And what people don't realize, Jerome, is when you have an automobile accident, it's the person who's at fault that's required to pay you.
That's right.
But what we have done in society is, because everybody don't have no money in their pocket.
That's good.
So what we have done in society is we buy insurance.
I like that.
And so what happens is, if you hit me, I'm going to sue you, but you ain't got a pot to piss in the window to throw it out. So your insurance.
Right.
so you have insurance.
That's exactly.
Or at
right.
least you should have.
Yeah. And in fact, the law in Tennessee requires that a person has financial responsibility.
Yeah.
That goes along with you using the streets and avenues.
Right.
So you should be financially responsible.
Right. So you're going to have insurance.
That's right.
And, and so that insurance will pay my injuries. Here's where always the problem is, Jerome, in automobile accidents. There is only a minimum amount of insurance that you're required to have.
Yeah.
I think in Tennessee, I think that minimum is $25,000.
That's what I think too.
There are some other states that's lesser.
But Mississippi may be just 10,000.
Yeah.
So
And each state's different.
Each state is different.
So some states have lesser, some states have more.
That's right.
But the problem with that is, if you have a major injury, where you got some broken bones, you have some neck injuries, you need some surgeries, back surgeries, things of that nature, then those things are expensive.
That's exactly.
And then
right.
after you get those surgeries, you're going to have a rehabilitation to get you back to where you were.
That's right.
And then you're going to have an occupational therapy to get you ready to go back to work. So there's a lot that goes on depending on how bad your injury is. So those are the problems.
That's right.
But so when you're in an automobile accident, most people have that $2 insurance, $25,000. And what ends up happening is somebody hit you with $25,000. You go to the med.
What kind of insurance is $2?
$2 insurance. Because if somebody got that's the minimum, $25,000.
Yes.
If you go to the med.
Yeah. Well, also too, Darrell, talk about it's $25,000, but it's $50. $50,000 if more than one person's in.
Yeah, but the most one person can
one
get.
person gets $25,000.
Yeah, it's $25,000 per person.
That's right.
Or $50,000 for multiple.
For whoever else is in the vehicle.
But if it's 10 people in there,
right,
then each one of y'all may only get $5,000 each.
That's
unfortunately,
exactly right.
Because it caps itself at that $50,000.
That's exactly right.
But here's the problem with that. So I want to talk about the $25,000.
Okay.
Because that's what most people have.
Right.
You go to the med and you take an ambulance, right? That's $1,000 bill. Okay. You go to the med and be treated at the med. That's a minimum of $8,000 bill.
Just for the ER visit.
Just for the ER visit.
Okay.
So you $9,000 in
right.
on a $25,000 policy.
Right.
You go to therapy, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. You $14,000 in on a $25,000 policy. You miss work. You've lost time.
Well,
all this other
let's
stuff.
talk about that, Darrell. So now you just can't take off from work.
No.
On your own.
No.
You must have a doctor's excuse to make it valid that you can take off.
Yeah.
And then you're still only entitled to workers' compensation amounts, aren't you?
No.
Did you get the full pay?
You get the full pay.
Okay.
Because it's not covered under workers' comp.
Okay.
I mean, so you get paid whole.
Okay.
Whereas if you get paid under workers' comp, it's only that 66 and 2/3. So
you
get paid your entire salary.
Okay.
So then, Jerome, here's what I always tell people. The reason why you buy insurance for your vehicle, it's not because of you. It's because I need to have
That's good.
insurance to protect me.
I like that. That's
So
good.
if so what ends up happening is, they have insurance you can buy 25, 50,000, 100, 100, 300.
Right.
So you can buy those types of policies.
That's right.
And it only costs you $10, $15 more per month to get the higher level.
That's right.
So what ends up happening is you hit me, right?
Right.
And you, guess what? You trifling.
I only got 25.
No, you don't have none. You in Memphis, dog. You don't have none. Because see, that's what ends up happening. Most people don't even have any insurance.
It's a lot.
So you hit me, you have no insurance,
Right.
and I am toe up. I'm done. But see, if I got my own policy, my uninsured
That's right.
or my underinsured motors will kick in.
That's right.
So I'm
So you covered.
I'm covered.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm like the blood of Jesus.
Right.
I'm covered.
I got you.
I'm covered. I got my covering.
I got you.
And that's what you got to look. You got to protect you
That's exactly right, Darrell.
because people can't drive, man.
That's right.
I mean, everybody got a driver license from Walmart, and they running into the back of you. They cutting you off. They driving all fast, and they can't control their car, and then you're injured.
And there are a lot of people.
Or
Free is free.
yeah, free, yeah, free unless we win.
That's all of
Yeah.
us. You can't. You
Yeah,
don't
that's-
let the fee unless you.
Size matters. I
Right.
mean, we got all these commercials out there that we
That's
hear
right.
people we're talking about, and the issue becomes this: most lawyers that represent you in an automobile accident, whether it be an automobile accident, a truck case, or whatever, they are normally not going to get paid unless you get paid.
That's the only way.
Because you
Because
don't
it's called-
have no money.
Right, that's right.
Yeah,
That's why it's called contingent.
They take it on a contingency fee.
contingency basis. In other words, I am putting my skills out to work for you.
Right.
In other words, it's like going to work at Walmart or something, and you just wait until the end of the week before you get paid.
Get paid.
The same thing with a lawyer who takes your case. He only gets paid, or she only gets paid,
Right.
when they are successful.
But what ends up happening here is there are a lot of companies out here, Jerome. So you have lawyers out here, and you get people that get injured. Some people get injured catastrophically. Some people get killed.
Yeah.
And so they have to be buried. So you have funeral.
Yes.
So they have what they call third-party vendors. And what I mean by that third party, Oasis, what's that one?
Peachtree.
Peachtree.
Yeah.
All these funding companies
Yes.
that will loan you money on your case. So if you get injured, you can't pay for the funeral. They got a company that will pay your funeral expenses. Then of course they're gonna put a lien on your case. If you need a couple $1,000s, they got a company that will, pay money
Exactly.
to give you some loan.
Exactly.
Here's the problem with those people. The interest is astronomical. I mean, that interest is 18, 20, just crazy.
It's wow.
And it's not using those funding companies is not illegal, and anybody can do it.
That's right.
And when my clients tell me that they need money or something, I tell them, man, you need to go borrow from your family.
Yeah.
You need to go do something like that. I said, because at the end of the day, I'll sign and do it if you want me to do it, but I don't recommend those funding companies because it's too high.
But that's the same way I do too, Darrell, because because it is frustrating. It is scary. You got a house note. You got rent.
Dog, you got bills.
Yeah, you got bills coming.
You got bills.
And you got and a man has his wife and the children looking at him crazy about them not being able to have. So it kind of makes you want to do that, but I always recommend that's the worst thing in the world that you can do, because you could wind up getting your whole settlement tied up with one of those people like that.
Now something that, some states, because every state has different rules, some states allow lawyers to actually loan clients money against their case. And that may not be that bad. I guess the only concern that you have with that, because normally the lawyer's not going to charge you these outrageous interest rates.
Well, I mean,
At least you would hope they're not.
We can't do that in Tennessee.
I don't think you can.
No, it's not. It's illegal for a lawyer to have an interest, a personal interest in your case, because if you owe me money and the insurance company puts some money on the table, I'm going to be forcing you to take that money so I can get mine back out of it. So that's why we're not able to lend money on a case like that, because the incentive to force your client to accept a settlement is too great.
Well, the thing that they always say, Jerome, and I think that's a misnomer.
Okay.
And here's the reason why I say that's a misnomer. It tells you that you can't have a pecuniary interest in your client's case.
That's right.
You always have a pecuniary interest.
Well, you do.
Because, okay, number one.
That's what you do. You do.
And I'm loaning the client money.
You do.
Automatically. Because I'm the one that's going to be financing the medical bills.
That's true.
I'm the one that's going to be financing the depositions, the doctors, all the things that have to make the case go.
That's right.
So you can say what you want to say. That is a loan.
I guess that is true.
And you can say what you want to say. That's an interest in the case.
I guess so. I guess
Yeah.
that is true. But
Yeah.
but to put money in their hands is totally different.
Well, look, I think it's potentially. It just depends. Because let me just tell you, I know it's done every day and twice on Sunday.
Okay.
I know it's done.
Okay.
And the problem that you have with that is, if you're a lawyer representing the client and you loan the client money, what happens if the client says, "I can't stand you no more"? They take their toys and they leave, and you've loaned money.
That's always a danger.
Yeah. Now, how you gonna get?
And you really don't have any choice but to allow that client.
Well, yeah, you can't. The law doesn't allow you to just tell a client they can't go nowhere.
And you just have to put a lien on the case.
Put a lien on the case.
And then you have to itemize what the lien consists of.
You do. You do.
So that's
and
when
you should. You should have to.
But then it would be revealed that you gave that client cash. You have to leave that out.
Well,
you see what I'm saying? Now, as far as the depositions, all that's valid. Medical bills, whatever that is, that's all that's valid. But to put down there cash, $6,000, I think you'd be better off just leaving that out.
Well, so let me ask this question. Why can't Peachtree or Oasis or any of these funding companies do that? I sign the lien that attaches that funding company to my client's settlement. If they can do it, why can't I do it?
I agree that it's some troubled waters there.
It's hypocritical, is what it is.
But they're not going to let you have money either unless they can clearly see that this is a case that's going to result in some money coming in.
Yeah.
And so that's why they say if you don't recover money, then you don't owe us anything.
And even the funding, it's in their funding agreements that
Right.
say that.
But they're not going to let you have it.
No.
If they don't think that your case
Oh,
is
no,
one
no,
that
no,
can
no.
be won.
I mean, normally what happens is the lawyer has to, kind of, I want to say, attest
yes.
that the case has some viability.
And they also have lawyers to review it.
They do.
I'm
they
sure
do.
of it, yeah.
They do. But see, the thing that I always tell clients, man, is this. You're hurting because you're not working. You're hurting because you need surgery. You're hurting because you need therapy. You got a lot of stuff that's going on. And you never expected this to happen.
That's right.
So, that's the reason why you always do these, I call them cover plans. Disability plans, disability insurance plans, because those are types of plans that kind of take care of you. But the other thing that you can do is if you're going to be out for a year or longer, then you can apply for Social Security disability. Most people don't know that.
But then, that's fine. But you have to pay it back if you do recover at some point.
Yeah, but
you're not able to.
Yeah, it's at such a.
You can't get a windfall.
No, you can't get a windfall, but
Right.
it's at a ridiculously low rate, though.
Right.
I mean, now the problem with applying for Social Security disability, unfortunately, is it takes a little bit of time.
That's true.
It's a slow process. But if your doctor is clean about it, say for instance, you got to have heart surgery. Well, in the Social Security statute, heart surgery meets a listing, and heart surgery also meets the time by itself.
Oh, really? Okay.
So if you say that I have to have X,
okay.
the doctor says you have to have X, then they have the guide.
Okay.
And if it meets that guide, you automatically get it.
You move to the front of the line.
Front of the line.
That's good.
And
good. I like that.
because what happens is Social Security has these tiers. The first tier is you go down to in Memphis, you can go to 3030 Monroe and file a claim. That's the first tier.
Right.
If they deny that tier, then the next tier is there's a disability. There's a review panel that goes over them. So you get to that review panel. If they deny, Then the next panel is you go to the administrative law judge, and then the administrative law judge can determine whether or not you're entitled.
Okay.
But that process from the beginning to the administrative law judge can take anywhere from about a year or so. So by that time, you may be. But what the good thing about Social Security is they will pay you back pay for that entire time.
That is true.
That you did once you get approved.
That's true.
So if you got approved today, but you didn't get the money until a year from now, they'll give you back pay from that year all the way to the day that you originally applied.
That is true. And one of the things, too, that you want to try and do is to do something that's going to get your attorney paid. So with your Social Security disability, the attorney can be paid from
The attorney will be.
And so that's why some of these rules are in place, because they realize that people are really not able to do these kinds of cases on their own.
Yeah.
You need some assistance.
Yeah. And
that's the first thing to realize, that your case is too important to not have representation.
You know, and I don't know in other states, but in Tennessee we have the Criminal Justice Fund. And that fund is, what happens is, if you're injured as a result, and and an accident can be considered a crime.
Yes.
So if you're injured as a result of a crime, you can basically get your doctor notes, get all your stuff, fill all the paperwork. Now it's tedious.
That is true.
It is so.
I've seen people recover from
and you submit all that. You submit your lost wage. You submit everything.
Right. And
the state of Tennessee, with that work, it's called the it's the Criminal Compensation Fund.
Criminal Injury Compensation Fund.
Yeah. And what they do is they review all that, and then they'll give you money, and they'll pay your medical bill.
But it's basically to pay the medical bill.
It really is to pay, but they actually give you money too.
And another thing too, Darrell, that we forgot to mention is that is it still in place where if your recovery is not enough to pay your bills, your medical bills, that they have to be reduced?
They do.
So
yeah.
There still is a way to get some funding in your pocket, even though your recovery is not that great.
Yeah. I mean, they have what they call the made whole document.
Yes, but I couldn't think of it.
So if you're not, if you losing money or you're not made whole,
right,
then of course they got to reduce the stuff. But the thing about it is, you should ask your lawyer for every option that's out there.
That's exactly right.
And then get them to explain to you what's the pros and the cons of these different things.
And how long do you believe that it's going to take in order to come to some kind of, and that only begins after your treatment is over.
Yeah.
And so Darrell, that's what I say. There's three phases in there. That's the phase where after you're injured, then the physicians take over.
Correct.
All right?
Correct.
And there's nothing that the lawyer can do. I don't care how many times you call.
No, you can't get nothing you can do. You're right.
Ain't nothing I can do.
Nothing really starts until the doctor releases you.
That's exactly right.
The doctor says, we fixed you.
That's right.
You have reached what they call maximum medical improvement.
Exactly.
So you're done.
That's right.
We fixed you. You can go. You maybe can go back to work. Maybe you can't go back to work. You got a disability, whatever the case may be, and all that gives the value to your case.
That's exactly right.
I mean, like if you're having surgery, I mean, the value of your case when you have surgery, bam, goes up.
Skyrockets.
Yes. If the doctor gives you a disability, the amount of your case goes bam.
That's right.
Even higher. And if it's you hit by a truck,
yeah,
the amount of your case goes pretty good.
That's right.
And the reason behind that is most of those places don't have a cap on their insurance.
That's right.
I mean, they have what they call a minimum policy of about a couple $1 million.
That's right.
So, I mean, shucks, a couple $1 million. I mean, most people ain't gonna make that in a lifetime.
That's right.
So that policy will cover up to that number, and depending on if the doctor says, you can't work,
all right,
and it's gonna take this type of therapy to get you back to work, or get you, you need weekly care, daily care, monthly care, whatever. All that is basically put in to your case.
That's right.
And that increases the value of your case. The more that's happening with you, the bigger the value of your case is. But the key thing, man, is you can't work. You can't do no under the table stuff.
you can do it.
You can do it,
but it's taking a chance
man.
on you losing it all.
If you do it,
because it can be bad.
Because here's what they'll do. You'll get set up like you'll be set up pretty in a mug. What happened is they'll get you in to do a deposition.
Or you'll be in trial.
You'll be in trial. Well, you say it won't be a trial because
it's showing the movie. You and that
they're showing the movie. Yeah,
you
on a slippy slide on a cruise.
Right.
Or you skiing down some slope somewhere.
I mean, but everywhere you go, you got a neck collar on. You walking on a cane, but then they turn around and show a picture of you again, breakdancing.
Yeah.
And so you gotta be very careful.
And here's the thing one of the things that I do is I request the social media pages.
Oh yeah.
Because people talk too damn much.
Oh, Darrell,
so what ends up happening is you go on somebody's social media page, and you'll see them. They talking about vacation. They talking about you have some of us in there. Man, next week I'm getting my check. I'm getting paid.
And got a whole handful of money flashing it.
Yeah.
So
again,
be careful with that.
The whole key is because if you got to go to trial, is if the jury don't like you, you're gonna lose.
That's exactly right.
I mean, and so if they show you in some negative light where you out at the club, getting your drink on, saying drink on the house for everybody. You got it all on your Facebook. You showing everything around.
I'm getting ready to get paid.
I mean, it comes back and bites you.
Absolutely.
So that's why I always tell people, when my clients come in, I always tell them, I said, look, do you do Facebook, TikTok? I think the other one, it's only a 24-hour. What is that called? Snapchat.
Okay.
That Snapchat video is only like a 24-hour video.
That's all it lasts?
It lasts 20. So, but if somebody catches it, captures it, then they can save it. But normally it kind of dissipates after a period of time. But all the other ones,
they're there. They're in the cloud forever.
They're in the cloud forever.
Yeah, so be careful with that.
You definitely want to make sure that you don't do all that stuff out there. And the other thing is, look, if you're injured, you're injured.
Well, there, if you have most of the times, if you have a job, you probably can get short-term disability too, won't you? It ought to be something that your employer has in place that you can probably use. Plus, you get family medical leave, don't you?
Yeah.
Possibly too, so they can preserve your position for you whenever you're able to come back to.
Well, depending on the job that you have, because some companies have what they call long-term and short-term disability.
That's right.
And now, but the problem with that, Jerome, just like all the other stuff,
you got to enroll in it, right?
Well, no, they want their money at the end.
Oh, well, I mean, that's
everybody
okay.
They're gonna get what they want to get.
Okay.
Yeah, they want to get reimbursed.
Because remember, this is a person who now has no income at all.
Right.
So they need something.
And I get to
kind of support them.
I think they only get 60% on long term and short term. I think it's 60.
I need to get some bread and milk from the from the store. So so always explore all those avenues for you. And your lawyers should be able to.
You know what you can't get, Jerome? You can't get unemployment.
No, because unemployment requires that you be available and able to work.
Yeah.
So you don't really qualify.
You don't qualify that.
And also, too, unfortunately, our state is somewhat anti-attorneys. So when you hear the word about what they call them there, what they call it, I can't remember what they call the lawyers. When they say lawyers are frivolous lawsuits, and remember how they talk about you know the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Our state is kind of anti-attorneys.
They are,
but attorneys provide a valuable service in many different areas that people would not be able to access the justice system without them.
And here's what because the reality of it is, people want to say
because, like you said, that's $1,000.
It's $1,000. $1,000 in
But I'm going
Shelby
to go
County.
by private vehicle, or I'm going to see my personal physician.
Yeah.
Don't say that I'm not hurt.
Yeah. Look. I always tell again, most people will have some semblance of health care insurance.
Yes.
So I always tell people, take the ride.
You should.
Take the ride. Go, because what ends up happening is you take the ride on the ambulance. They're going to take you through the back door, and you're going to get seen in the emergency room right now. Because you
That is true.
when you're on an ambulance,
That is true.
you go to the front of the line.
That is true.
Because number one, they want to get you out of there because the ambulance can't stay there, so they got to get you off the ambulance.
That is true.
And then they got to put you somewhere in a and they're not going to leave you in the middle of the waiting room.
That is true.
So they're going to get you back and you're going to get seen. So and then they're going to work you out of there because they got to get that bed out for the next patient.
That's true.
So the ambulance beds get them beds. So that's why you take the ride.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, you take the ride.
You're absolutely right, because to later on complain about something that you did not say at the time will come back and hurt you too.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of times people will try and treat themselves, and that's probably okay, isn't it?
It is. It is until you go to trial.
But it kind of shows that you are not a person who is trying to just have a money grab, but you at least you tried to use like ibuprofen or something. Yeah. You took some Tylenol, but unfortunately the pain, instead of the pain getting better, it got worse. So I had no choice but to again go to the ER. What do you think about that?
I mean, I like that, Jerome, but unfortunately, the insurance companies kind of use that against you.
Okay, I got you.
And and the jury they turn it against you against the jury.
And that's quite possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, those things all sound good, and they make sense in our world, but they, man, for whatever reason, man, when people on the jury, man, they get on some new stuff.
And Darrell, and how wrong is that for a person to try and do the right thing, and you turn around and use it against them? It's like somebody giving a 2 weeks notice, and the boss say, okay, you can just leave now. You know what I'm saying? Because we tell people that you should give a 2 weeks notice, right?
Yeah.
But then the boss said and fires you. Now you're trying to do the right thing there.
Well, there's a reason behind that, Jerome. I mean, I get that,